Okay, problem number 25 says which expression is equivalent to the quantity of 4 minus 3i squared plus the quantity of 6 plus I squared. So there's a couple of things to remember here, but the main thing is actually just treat the I like an x for now. I is a number, and we can just work this out. You know how to do 4 minus 3x quantity squared plus 6 plus x quantity squared. That's a problem that we've practiced doing. It's just binomial expansion. So we're going to expand this out, just treating the I like it's a variable instead of a number, and we'll deal with that number part later. So 4 minus 3i times 4 minus 3i is the same thing as 4 minus 3i squared. And then write the plus, and then we've got the 6 plus I times 6 plus I, right? Because that's the same thing as having it squared. Okay, so now you can see that you need to use the distributive property. The 4 needs to be distributed to the 4 needs to be distributed to the negative 3i, negative 3i needs to be distributed to the 4, and the negative 3i needs to be distributed to the negative 3i. So doing that, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times negative 3i is negative 12i. Negative 3i times 4 is negative 12i. And negative 3i times negative 3i is positive 9i squared. So this is the same as this. We've expanded this multiplication. Now we need to still write our plus sign here. And then we need to expand these. So same thing, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times I is positive 6i. I times 6 is positive 6i. And I times I is positive I squared. And now we have like terms to combine. We have the 16 plus the 36. So 16 plus 36 is 52. We have negative 12i and negative 12i and positive 6i and positive 6i. And really, 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 minus 12 is 0, so these all actually cancel when you put them together, so we're really just left with negative 12i. And then positive 9, these two are like terms, right? Positive 9i plus positive 1i, positive 9i squared plus positive 1i squared, that's the same as positive 10i squared. Now this is the spot where we would stop if the I was really an x. But in this case, it's not a variable. I is not a variable. It's actually a number. And this part, you have to remember that I is actually equal to the square root of negative 1. Now, that doesn't help us any. We might as well just leave that I, right? But if I is equal to the square root of negative 1, then if we squared both sides, then that would take the square root away, and that would make the I squared equal to negative 1. So knowing that I squared equals negative 1, we actually can go further with this problem. Take the I squared out and put negative 1 in. So 52 minus 12i plus 10 times negative 1. I squared is the same thing as negative 1. And then that makes this negative 10. And now we have like terms to combine again. So this makes this 42 minus 12i, which is actually the answer choice here. Now, that's a lot of work to get to that point. And if you don't have a calculator at home, a graphing calculator at home, that's really what you're going to have to do. But what's great is that these graphing calculators actually have an I button. See this, the decimal point, the little blue I right there? So actually your graphing calculator will do this problem for you if you type in parentheses 4 minus 3, and then you just have to hit the second button and then the decimal, and that gives you the I. See, 4 minus 3i quantity squared plus, here, let me make sure I'm focused a little better, plus 6 plus, and again, hit the second and then the decimal down here, and that gives you the I, So 6 plus I, close the parentheses, squared. And then hit enter, and the calculator actually does all of it for you. So all that work I did, the calculator will actually do for you if you just know where to find the I.